We're actually getting up and moving on the road now with the Accord. Now again, I'm driving this back to back with the Civic. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the all-new Honda Accord. Before we get in this video though, a huge shout out and link to the Stockton 12 Honda here in Utah for giving me some time with this Accord. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for John. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 1.5 liter 4-cylinder that goes through a CVT automatic. Fuel economy is 29 around town and then 37 on the highway, with power outputs being 192 horsepower and then 192 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Starting with the hood, first off, this color is called Canyon River Blue, and then you guys can see the sharp lines there on either side. Really sharp daytime running lights there with the LED headlamps. Looks pretty similar to the Civics though, to be honest. And then you guys can see Honda logo there in the center. And I love the grille design and how it's blacked out. I think that looks great. And putting it all together, I think the front end of the new Accord looks really cool. Kind of reminds me of the S650 Mustang though, the new Mustang's coming out. Coming around the side here, tire wheel setup is 225/50/17 in the front and over in the rear as well. And you guys can see with the wheels metallic gray, which I think contrasts nicely to the blue on this Accord. That also kind of reminds me of the Civic, the fender there. Anyways, body painted mirrors, door handles, chrome around the window trim as well. And putting it all together, it's actually pretty big when you look at it from a side view perspective. Now taking a look at the key fob here, we've got our unlock function or lock function, remote start, the opening here for the trunk, and then the Honda logo. Anyways, whoa. Now popping inside, you guys can see we've got these little buttons, or rather pull tabs right here to throw down the seats. And when it comes to storage space, the Accord's actually very spacious here in the rear. It's quite a bit bigger than what you have in the Civic, if you guys are wondering. And when you're all done, plop. Taillight design here in the rear looks pretty cool. Definitely reminds me of the Sonata a bit. You guys can see the Honda logo there, and then Accord down below. But I think it looks good. And finishing things up, I do prefer the front to the rear of the new Accord, but overall I think that Honda did a great job with the styling. Now popping inside, you guys can see that pretty basic there at the top, but we do have some padding here. You're going to rest your arm. I love the look of the window control there, and then the handle as well looks great. And then here are the seats, really nice cloth seats, as you can see, gray there in the center and then kind of darker on either side. Space back here is great. I was just in the backseat of a Civic though, and it doesn't feel that much bigger than the Civic. It is bigger, but it's not as much as you'd think. And then headroom's great back here. And would you look at this? We got a cup holder armrest. Now taking a look at the front door panel here, you guys can see the padding down below. We've got all of our window controls, front two are automatic, and then we do have our mirror adjustments right there. And then you guys can see blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. And taking a look at the front seat, very dark because of the lighting. Sorry about that, but it's basically the same as the back seat there, just a little bit more heavily bolstered. Power adjustments here on the side. And then you've got your trunk release button right there. And I love the look of the vents here in the new Accord. And then the steering wheel is manually adjustable. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, pretty basic with material use wrapped around the steering wheel, but we do get our lane keep assist, well, it's steering assist actually, with adaptive cruise control. And then you guys can see with our volume voice command controls there on the other side. Turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock. Now the Accord actually gets Honda's fancy full digital gauge cluster here in the center, which you can see with that, that's kind of like your media tab. And then this is like your vehicle information tab on the other side. And then we also do have an econ mode that we can pop into. Now in reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, and resolution is pretty solid. So as for the rest of the infotainment system, this is Honda's quote-unquote base unit. It still has like analog controls here on the outside of the system, but basically just functions mainly as like a radio rather than an infotainment system, but you can also still connect your phone to it. Got some really nice padding here at the top of the dash, and then you guys can see we got the whole Honda Megavent situation. And then we've got our climate controls down below, so dual zone climate controls, heated seats for the front as well. And then you guys can see we've got some USB action right here with some storage. Here's our shifter for that CVT. Notice we have an S mode for sport with it. And then we've got some cup holders here, your econ mode, your auto stop start to pop that function on. And then you can see the parking brake right next to it, brake hold as well. And then here's the center console, which pretty spacious, also has a 12 volt inside of it and nice padding on the top. Speaking of padding, I forgot to mention that. But anyways, opening up the glove box, pretty spacious. And then up top here, got our control here for the sunroof sunglass holder, and then here is the sunroof itself. So here's a window sticker for this Accord. You guys can see the standard equipment here. Base MSRP, and then here is your total MSRP, $30,705. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood. Both mirrors, you do have blind spot monitoring, and through the rest of the rear, and Accord away! I don't know why I said that, but we'll just go with it. So today is going to be a great day for Hondas, because I just drove a manual Sport Touring Civic hatchback. Now we're driving the new Accord, and then after this, we're gonna go review the hybrid version of the new Accord. I will be putting together a comparison video, so if you're not subscribed, that's another reason to subscribe, so that you can see that comparison video as soon as it's posted, because I don't know if anyone's posted a comparison with the hybrid versus the non-hybrid Accord yet. But regardless, initially setting off, seat comfort's actually really good with this Accord. Don't worry, you got plenty of space with your CR-V. But yeah, seat comfort's really good, and I will say around the parking lot, this turbocharged engine feels pretty zippy. Like it's getting up and moving at a pretty solid pace. This person's just, I'll be back to you guys in a second. Okay, we're actually getting up and moving on the road now with the Accord. Now again, I'm driving this back to back with the Civic, so I'll be able to tell you if the ride quality is better, worse, the same. And I want to go over a few more bumps, but it feels like this is more comfortable than the Civic, which I kind of expected because similar suspension setup, but longer wheelbase. And you know, longer wheelbase cars always absorb things a little bit better. Can definitely feel the weight difference between the cars. I love how this handles. Wow. This is the best handling. I mean, get a few more turns, but this feels like the best handling Accord ever. Like the steering feels really good on this. Did not expect that. That is a big surprise. Thank you for not having those guys have a green light so I can go. Good torque. We'll pop into the S mode. I'm way more impressed with this than I expected. I thought this was going to be like a hit piece, honestly. I thought this was going to be a video of me talking about how Honda destroyed the Accord because they got rid of the 2.0 turbo with the 10-speed. But so far, very pleasantly surprised with the performance of this new Accord. I mean, this is great. Some other stuff, again, even though this is more of like it's not like a full-on baseline package, but more of a baseline package, the interior in this feels pretty dang premium. Okay, let's get our full-blown acceleration here. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. I mean, it's not like a rocket ship, but I mean, it moves. It actually moves. So yeah, let's sum things up with the 1.5 turbo version of the Accord. So when it comes to, I guess, like exterior styling with the new Accord, I think it looks pretty good. Interior also, like, it has a lot of carryover from the Civic, so I think that, you know, job well done there. So solid all around. And then it drives really well. Like, the handling on this is phenomenal. Seriously, they improved it a lot. I'm super impressed with the handling. I'm impressed with the ride quality. It does ride better than the Civic. This is the best handling, best riding Accord, but it's not the fastest. That's the only downside. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure why Honda got rid of the 2.0 turbo, but again, I will say that, like, reviewing cars for Honda for the last few years, I didn't ever really see a lot of 2.0 turbos at the dealership. It seemed like most people were buying like this variant of the Accord. So I guess that Honda's just going after volume, right? But let me know what you guys think about the 1.5 version of the Accord.